do. I am going to start in about 6 minutes. I'm going to start playing Pathologic. The original. I'm on day 2. So, let's make sure things are running properly on my app. I have to admit, this does slap. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do this stupid thing. Our Topaz doesn't look like she's overly impressed. I've only ever seen her play with it when nobody was looking at her.
I've gone.
Yeah. That's fair. And Cheppy's just grooming herself. Nice and fine. God, he has such high platform shoes and he's still so short. Bachelor, what's going on? He is a little guy. It's so funny because when he talks to somebody, you see the camera rise up so you can see them face to face and look them in the eye. They have to make him float. Because he's so short and around so many large Russian men. But he's just a small Russian man, I guess. Sorry, Alright, now I've got to figure out what was I doing. Okay, I need to find the silent house. Okay. And then House of the Living, which I do have a list of the meat written down here too. I think. No, those are D&D notes. No. Oh wait, no. It is there. It's just upside down. All right. And my adherents. Oh, I can. Okay.
Oh, Mother. Why can't you be here with us?
God, at least you're wearing shoes now, but as opposed to Pathologic 2, but those weird...
I think I'm having fever heat.
But those pasties over your dress, it's just bizarre, lady. Now. I got those funds. I need to figure out where to go buy. Now, I know somebody said when I talked to them. Wait a minute. Aha! I'm guessing these are shops then? Because that has a tailor shop. Let's check this one to see if I've actually learned how to read the map better. Do you have enough food? Oh, we're absolutely miserable. The last of it ran out completely. We're starving, no less. How can it be? Why? People can go 40 days without food. Starvation weakens the body, that's why. But the prices, just look at the prices. It's unheard of. A piece of stale bread costs 1,000. Where am I supposed to get that much money? How do they live with their conscience and demand that much of me when my children are starving? Are you really that low on provisions? Oh, what a fool I was. And I'm not the only one. So much has been burnt and buried. We're afraid that meat, the oat, the fish, the potatoes, that it could all be infected. The day before yesterday, and the day before that we did. We didn't know that the train wouldn't come. We just threw it all away. We expected new safe food to come. The train might come soon. No, it won't. Who in the right mind would set a train here? There's quarantine, thanks to you. No, not true. It's not about me at all. The quarantine is a desperate measure. Because I can do no wrong, because I am the Bachelor, and I am smarter than everybody in this whole world. I'm getting into character, as you can tell. And you guys are just a bunch of dumb hicks. Okay. The map feels smaller than in Pathologic 2, but I think that's to be expected. Okay, that is a shop, but this one is a pharmacy. You can tell because it's got a snake on it. Huh. I can go that way, I guess, since I'm already on this direction. And I'll just kind of look around, I guess. Anything I do for you? No, thank you. Why can't I trade with you, huh? Anything else? Urchins? Grease Lair, Rubens Prospectorium. Okay. What's kind of nutty about, what's driving me a bit nutty about this is that it's very, no, you have nothing. Oh, I think it's because I've already traded with you. I've already done this. Canes have their own little shop. Offer is reserved for the poor and people that Canes consider especially trustworthy. I wonder where the shop is. I wonder whom the Canes trust. Yeah, that's something I am wondering, because I'm like, If I could find a cheaper place to buy stuff, that would be super nice, considering the exorbitant prices right now. Okay, from what I get about the map, if I am reading it correctly, I go this way. Yes, that's there in its clothing. That doesn't help me right now. And you don't have the kind of bullets I want, and I'm not going to waste basically my second form of money if on that. Okay, either way, I have to go this way. Talk to you. Maybe you have something? Yep. Okay. Nope. He has medicine, though. Now, I do know I have to go down here because it's in the next district. Yeah. Okay. I do like this soundtrack. I really do. It's very... I'm impressed at how different it is from 2. Nothing. Revolver ammo. Okay. These are worth 1 apiece. That's worth 1. It's worth 1. That's worth 1. 2 of those for 2 of these. Because giving a kid some sharp stuff, is totally unacceptable behavior. Like, here, kid, try not to cut yourself. And that is not the kind of shop I want. That is another of those. I guess down here. I've already talked to you. Now, part of the reason why I'm not finding the walking as bad as, like, people have said probably is because I'm doing an LP, and so I am talking, and I've got something to do. God, this place is weird. Lockpick. Price 5. Number of uses 1, 2. Don't have enough for you. Okay. Be like that little kid. Alright, let's see what we've got here. I need bread. Fish. Okay, so I need bread, dried fish, and smoked meat. Ugh. It's almost all my money. Though I guess Oh, how much is this going to bid me? Gold ring is going to help with that. Good. Bow necklace will help with the cost, too. I don't have a lamp. Oh, I don't feel guilty buying. What's that? Walnut. Huh. Okay. Anything else I don't want? Okay, I've got 3 of those. Still. I know there's nothing there. Shady stuff. Maybe Grief knows about it. He's a bit shady. Why am I trying to do that when I don't have anything to do it with? Does that mean I'm just like losing money or what? Every time that flashes in the corner. Yeah. Wait, am I going in a direction that will actually help me get to him? Because I think that way is blocked off. Now I'm looking for this building, maybe? Wait, do you trade, dude? So, have you defeated the foe? Found the root of evil? I mean, like, by the way, there was an accident once. Happened to a mate of mine. I'm all agog. What happened to this worthy man? So, yes, basically, it is like 99% blind. I only know, like, a couple of things, and those are that, and everything I know will be done, especially for the Bachelor Rout by day 2. I've already, like, I knew that there was something up with Laura, and on day 2, and other than that, like, I don't know anything. So, also, I'm glad to have you here. It's, I think it's fun to play with people watching and talking about it. So, you see, he broke his leg once, right? Also got himself kidney pains. It was early spring, March or so. So he went off to gather them warts. 'Twas high time for them. Said he'd sell 'em so that they're made into potions. That's twirine. Otherwise, they're pretty worthless. Wait a minute. He went to gather warts with a broken leg. That's the point. What's the point? That's the point when he broke it. Obviously, he went to gather herbs unbroken, running around regardless of whether you're even whole or at pieces is a modern thing. Things used to be different back then. So, what does this have to do with the turn skin? Stop interrupting me then. He wandered far off, darkness fell and all, so he thought he should get back, and then he feels like something has grabbed his leg, and it's all dark, so he thought maybe he grabbed too many herbs and roots, so the earth wouldn't let him go. He took the best ones too, the juiciest. Well, what was it? Oh no, I'm trying to do this blind. Like, I want to see if I can figure out what they meant by the special shop for canes. And I just thought, well, Grief's shifty. Maybe he knows something. So that's why I'm over here. He looks down, and there's something holding him. Something hand-like. Like a hand. Doesn't seem like a Root at all, holding him fast, trying to get hit to his ankle, and then he sees it's a bone hand, for real. So 'twas him, the Shubnock. And so my mate tried to break free and run off. Came back home and saw his leg was broken. I see. So why the hell do you feel the need to waste my time telling me all this? God, you're really not a friendly dude, Daniel. Well, he got sick, right? So 'tis all medical stuff. You're a medic. It's a useful source for you, see? Thank you, good sir. Thank you. Alright. Oh, this isn't the right building, is it? Nope. I have to go down again. When I realized these kids don't wear shirts, I'm just like, come on. Those were 2. I have plenty of those. I figured the more painkillers, the better. You don't have that same story, do it? Yeah, I'm just gonna say fuck you, bye. You're a jerk. Also, you got pretty decent looking teeth, surprisingly. Grief, you hang out with just the nicest of people.
They're carving up the town. It's clear who's gonna bag the prize. The kinds aren't getting back on their feet anytime soon, and Vlad keeps mum. Got a finger in the pie, that's for sure.
Huh. Dear men, bring dire omens. That will cost us dearly, dear Doc. Are you implying I owe you something? Well,
He who loans a minute owes a year in interest.
huh. Oh, I forgot to read this, so.
Saburov will regret this.
Okay, that's a weird way to pronounce Savarov's name, but go for it. Wow, I can't imagine affording any of that. Oh god, everything's so expensive. I just wanted to check. And I wanted to jump. Oh my god, child! Why were you waiting out there for me? Oh, come on, kids. The machine. Spitty. Alright. I don't think I've been to that one, so I guess that's my next attempt to go somewhere. It feels like that kid was just sitting there waiting for me, and I'm like, come on, child. Okay. Bounce, 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 bounce. The pitter-patter of little bachelor feet. Me, can I jump up here? No. But I want to game. Why won't you let me? Can I... Oh, I can get in here. Cool. Wow, you really keep this place nice and tidy, don't you, Reuben?
I'm on my last legs. I can't take it anymore. Shh. They can be around.
Wow. Paranoid, aren't you, Reuben? Now's not a good time to talk, however important the matter. All right. Okay then. That was quick and easy. I guess he has nothing to say right now. Yeah. He's a jerk, but I'm enjoying his jerkiness. I'm also like, oh God, can we please, even when he's like, you know, I'm picking the nicer things for him to say, I'm like, he's being sarcastic, isn't he? Because, oh boy. Yeah, a big part of the reason why I'm playing Pathologic is I want to learn more about Danielle and Clara. And, well, trying to think how to put this. They're not... Yeah, he's very dramatic. No, it's like no wonder people imply or think certain things about him, because, yeah. Let's see. Nope. No, I'm enjoying him as of right now. I think he's significantly wrong in a lot of things, but it doesn't mean I don't enjoy them. Oh God, does this game count as Break the Haughty? Is that what it does to Danielle? God, creepy child. Yeah, bullets. Because, yeah, I had a fun night in this game last night. I died a few times. But death is... Ooh, don't want to spoil. Okay, that's fair. Oh, I know I am for a ride. I can just tell because he has a personality that doesn't seem to appreciate things that he's unprepared. He's unprepared for. It's like, is this all there is? What? Oh. That must be milk. I do need bread. Yeah, that doesn't sell for much. That's okay. I'm not selling my fish. I will sell a couple of those, though. And dried meat? Yes. These prices aren't bad. Aren't as bad, I think. Well, maybe they are. So I got 1 piece of dry meat. I've got, this will make 2 pieces of bread. Maybe. No, there's the one kid with the medicine kit. So I've got 3 fishes, dry meat, bread. I want to buy more, but yeah, I'll worry about myself after I finish the quest. Oh boy. Those drunks. Honestly, they'd move better if they actually walked like somebody really drunk. I'll take some. Unlike in Pathologic 2, I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll trade water. Pathologic 2, I was like, oh god, I can't trade the water. I need it for tinctures. Okay. Creepy child. Hello, creepy child. Okay, it is. Okay, I'm very glad. Apparently, if they're yellow, there's a shop on the map. Smoked meat, bread. Alright. What's that? Vegetables. Alright. That'll mean I'll have the bread, and then I need... What else do I need after the bread? I need another smoked meat. Yeah. P. I'm getting hungry. So I'll eat a fresh fish. And by eat it, I mean I'll drop it on the floor. And then try again. Yay! I keep dropping food every time I try to eat. Alright. Hi, creepy kid. Did I check you? No, you do have bullets, though. Hazelnut and a bullet. I just want to make sure it's fully loaded. I keep hitting the wrong... Inventory. Oh my gosh. Close. Weapons. I have 7 bullets. Woo! The muggers in this game are absolute BS, I will say that. Like, you barely get a warning and then they... Oh, I think the kid's running because I pulled out my gun to load it. Oh, that makes sense, though. Then I'm guessing this one over here is clothing. Stair to nowhere. Yeah. Hey, grumpy looking girl. Nothing I want. Who knows? I could be making the wrong choices, but... I know I failed some quests, and I know what to do now, to not fail them, but you know, I'm playing this blind and I'm taking my shots when I, when I mess up, I'm just gonna take the damage it does. It is cute that he calls the teensy pumpkin. Alright, I'm going to see Sticky next, I suppose. Oh, those who know have the Cane's trust. Maybe that special thing, it's the Stamatin brothers also might know about the so-called cheaper food place. Tap, 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 tap. Pitter patter, pitter patter. Also, I'm finally gotten used to the whole bouncing up and down as I move. Because, oh boy, when I first started, I got motion sick. I was like, old games. I'm like, why is there scaffolding here? Also, the stairs are really terrible. I hate them. And whoever does... Oh, fudging hell, that freaking statue!
Truth is foundation, and the reason of the perfection of beauty, old boy.
Okay. So, I'm still not sure how to convince him. I mean, I know enough to know that's not gonna go well. I wish you walked like a drunk. Oh. Instead, you walk like I don't know what, but it's not pleasant to look at. Oh, at that freaking statue. I absolutely hate that thing. I've done it twice now. Oh, that's Butterrock's place. Got it. Okay. I'm kind of going towards Sticky, so I guess that's where I'm going now. Also, I've done a lot, so I'm gonna do a proper save. I really hate where that statue is. I'm like, why? Why is it like that? It's this one. I think. Gold ring! Yeah! Sticky, you live in a pretty creepy place. I'm just gonna let you know. Of course the music swells up right as I get to him.
Something's on. I feel makes my hair stand on end.
Why? Why does he look like that? Oh God, what? Want to see something fun? Oh, God. Yes, I've checked. I do know to check my letters. I've seen one this morning, for example. That's how I knew to go to Sabaroth. Want to see something fun? What's your name? Call me Sticky. Everyone does. You're a lively kid. Look around. Some houses are always open for you. Others open for everyone only under special circumstances. If a person dies or when there's a wedding or something. Others still are only open when those who can find a creep hole in. I don't know if you are too big for creep holes, Bachelor. Yeah. Okay, what actually really bothers me about these models are the teeth. And it's like, this is why you do not give dolls individual teeth. Because, especially considering how we look at old graphics today, like, back when I was way younger, this would have been amazing. But now they look like creepy dolls. I'm a bit too big for creep holes. Sure, whatever you say, Danelle. Well, I collect places like that. I made a map a year ago. Now there are so many marks on it that there's no room for houses. I hid in a house for about 2 hours once. The owners were there, and they didn't notice me. Interesting.
My knee pits itch. Is that bad?
It just means you're sweating, dude. Will you teach me to tell a person's expected lifespan by their pupils? They say you've seen... Well, I'll start elsewhere because this one will definitely end it. I really hope you've quenched your thirst for acts of valor. I think I know what we need to be looking for. I've heard all of the stuff about a turnskin, a bloodsucker, a man-eater, about it being a man, and about it being a woman. I've heard tales of an invisible, many-headed beast that can go through walls. But that's all hogwash. Alright, enlighten me. What else is there to find? The killer is unusual, but it exists. We need to be looking for the carrier of the disease, right, mister? Now I hear a man talking. Who is it? A man-like creature, skin so pale it seems to be gleaming. It comes from underground sometimes, turns up somewhere around the rotten field between the cemetery and the abattoir. Have you seen it? Once. Not sure that it was the thing, though. We tried to follow it a couple of times, but it always knows it's being followed. Anyway, it fits the description. A rather strange thingy. I can't even imagine why folks say it has several heads. Why? Because it does. God, Sticky. That was a stupid joke, boy.
So, I've seen this Haruspix. Didn't look too happy.
Yeah, well, if you were framed for your father's murder, you wouldn't look too happy either. Listen to me. Your main quest is to stay home for now. Otherwise, you'll get infected and die. Do you believe me? Anyone who doesn't believe there's an outbreak is a perfect fool. We need to block off everything. Delay is tantamonious to death, right? Right. But how do you know all this? Look, when people thought a man-eater was in town, they locked their doors up. Only the brave ones didn't. And those who somehow knew the rumors were all fibs. Got it? True. I've seen very few open doors so far, and now some houses are standing ajar. They say there's a moaning coming from inside. Why did you just jerk your head randomly like that? Ugh. All in all, no one in their right mind would invite the disease into their home. I'd say that kind of welcome is a bad sign. So, you think I'm going to walk around pushing every door until one of them opens? What for? That's stupid. Even I wouldn't do that. There are other clues that set a dangerous place apart. Ask some guys around here. As for the girls, you can ask Grace and Capella. Not Murky, though. Her imagination is getting the better of her. She makes up lots of weird stuff that gives me chills. So, the locals leave their doorsteps open when there's no hope left. A nice custom, quite useful. Anything else?
This joint won't break. It's made of metal.
Okay. Okay. They say you've seen a silent house. I've seen it all right. Shouldn't have done that. Hey, can you check me? You know, like you doctors do, just in case. Although, they say if you get sick, you can feel it straight away. It feels as if someone was pouring boiling tar straight into you. Yeah. Oh, wow. So kind. No fever. You're fine. So have you sneaked into the infected houses? Which ones? One's really close by, just across the yard. That one's freaky place, all right. All hot and smeared with bloody fat. Ugh. And they say bloody mold was crawling up the walls during the first outbreak, too, like a scab. This is rubbish. A scab on a stone walls. I know what I'm talking about. That thing's carrying the disease. That's why it's so creepy. What if it crawls further and no one cares? The guys tried to tell them, if you see blood leaking from under a door, that's where the Shabnak, has had a feast. But no one believes them guys. It's better never late. Is it better never than late or something? All right, I'll go check. Double checking. Yeah, I did get Savarov's note. Q. Cool. Saving game, I feel that's important. Maybe I want to go here. Will this get me anywhere useful? I don't know. Nope. Oh. Huh. Well, that's telling. Have to go around. In these graphics, that actually looks maybe more horrific. Ooh, the creaking. I don't know if I'm ready for this. Because I know it's going to go badly. Oh, I hate this music. Who is it? Is that a person? Will you help me? What's wrong with you? Can't you see me? So hot, it hurts. My head is about to burst. Blood is curdling in my veins. I'd scream, but I don't want the children to hear. Lie still. Don't come close. We're dying already. I told my sisters not to go outside, so they're shambling around the house. Who's shambling around the house and why? Just don't kill us. Don't kill them if they ask you for help. Their mind is clouded with pain. They can't even find each other. They're only praying. Don't come close to them and step away from me too. I'll be back. Take the key. You'll be able to open the door if we lose consciousness. Hold on. Fudge! No. Why? Why? What is this house? What's the nature of that filth, the inflammation that covered those poor women's bodies? If the rulers require proof, then this is it. I will present Sabroff with the key, a grisly memento that unlocks the secrets contained within the diseased place. That was terrible. Once again, an old video game proves that you don't need amazing art. You don't need, like, the latest in graphics to scare the crap out of somebody. I did not like that. I did not like that. It made Sticky's Deadeye smile more pleasant, I'll tell you that. Okay. Yeah. I believe that's Sabroff's place. Yeah.
I've got a firm hand.
Okay. I'm listening, Bachelor. I found proof, Governor. Here is the key to a house where several people are dying in agony are waiting for anyone willing to examine them. Will that be enough? I've already received a report of your spectacular success. News of your deeds precede you. Now I want you to personally convey your opinion on what you have witnessed to Kane and Ogemski. Then we can consider your mission complete. I will do that. My hypothesis was true. However two-faced the powers that be may be, the information was correct. There is an outbreak of highly contagious disease in town. Gregory Kane and Vlad Ogemsky are at the head of the ruling families. They will need to be notified before anything else, and then I can take up my duties. All right. I think I go this way now. And I will go in here. Ugh, my heart is still pounding from seeing that damned thing. Ugh. Smoked meat, bread, dried meat. Dried meat. And three of those. Dry fish, 3 of those. I'll get a fish too. All right. Yes, I will do that. Now. Still breathing. God. Why? Those ladies tried to grab me and were blind, and I'm like, oh God, why are you the most scary thing in the world? Oh, nice little bug noises. Hey dude, I think you're screwed. I'm just giving you a warning.
Laura and her company are buying up all food in town. Are we at war again?
Any interesting news? People say all sorts of things over a bottle. They say no one has ever seen a Shabnak, but she's been heard by prophets, drunkards, housemates, and those who happen to walk past the crucible at that night. I wonder what the bastards were doing there. They probably wanted to get another glimpse of lovely Maria in the window. What did they hear? They've heard a wheeze, heard sobbing and breathing, very heavy, as if it were a whale. Those are apparent signs of the hair eater. Here and there, by the window, by the wall, behind the corner. Scared shitless people then come here to forget themselves and the nightmare. Breathing so heavy that it can be heard through walls. Well, that whale hasn't got much time left. I'm telling you this as a doctor. It's possible. It's possible that Twyrine addiction goes hand in hand with poetry. Poetic minds tend to exaggerate things, but they are really so deprived of imagination they have to tell the same tale over and over again. That's the concern that's gnawing at me. Curious.
Fortune appears so blind to none as to those to whom she has done no good. That was an aphorism.
Peter doesn't believe me either. What's wrong with you people? How can I persuade him? And rightly so. Take a look around. You should have seen what the crude sprawl looked like during the outbreak. The houses that Burrock had locked up were literally in agony, their walls swollen with boils, their windows covered in scarlet mold. There were blisters everywhere. Blood mixed with ichor was flowing from the chimneys. That's how it was. Metaphors. No, I'm not being metaphoric. These are the facts. There was moaning and howling all over Earth, moaning louder than the morning siren of the works. The tormented were screaming so loudly, glass would break in the windows, and it all happened over the course of several hours. That is what the sand pest is. So knock your bullshit off. Okay, what can persuade Peter? A convincing discovery sporting your theory can help. That the outbreak has left a dreary impression on Peter. He's been heavily into Twirine since then, but there's no sand plague in town, so poor you. Tell Eva the plan fell through because of Peter. Perhaps that will comfort her. I'll look for this discovery of yours.
Laura and her company are buying.
We know. Okay. Mostly curious. Well. Who's next? I need to get to the Ogemsky skis. Oh. Ow. I don't even know what time it is. Oh. That is the time. I've only been playing for about an hour. I know. Clock, clock, ticking, ticking. And yes, this is the way. Oh. This place feels so empty. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing in this, for the kind of game this is. Oh, yeah, that is the abattoir. I just like saying it that way. I find it fun. Here, do you have any bandages for me, weirdo? Thanks, dude. I don't want to die again randomly. That's seen better days. Oh, the plastering on the town hall really needs rework. Oh yeah, bullet. Kind of want to save my walnut though. The lump. Okay. Think I can get there from going up here? Then going that way. Ugh. They really did design this to be as convoluted as possible. Yes. Yes. And now. Health, immunity, reputation. I saw that as reproduction, and I'm like, what? What does that have to do with anything? Oh, the fun of being dyslexic. Ah, creepy little girl. All right. Hey, dude.
The girl is fine, but the boy's unbearable.
Yeah, well, maybe if you weren't such a jerk, maybe, you know, you'd have a better relationship. See what you've done, Doctor. You won't be able to leave this place now. The town is blocked off. I've transferred my powers over to Sabaroff. He didn't hesitate to express his gratitude by hiding me in a position of intendant. Now I'm in charge of equipping and maintaining infirmaries. I'm sure the train is not the only line of communication with the rest of the world. It is. The station is shut off, but it will be reopened when regular freight train arrives. That it will definitely be, Doctor. That's when we'll discuss how to snatch ourselves a vehicle there. When is the train scheduled to arrive? Any day now. In fact, it was supposed to arrive some time ago. I'm surprised it hasn't. The government has to realize how dependent we are on their deliveries. Our survival is at risk here. Your survival is at risk for an entirely different reason. Cute. Yep. You're ready? Now, is this the right direction? More or less. Bounce, bounce. Pitter patter, pitter patter. God, when I'm assuming it's like concept art that they show when things are loading. And when they do that, and every time I'm like, oh. Your platforms are very tall, Doctor. And you're still this short. I'm not that tall, but I'm also not technically short. So maybe I should be nicer about it. It just means he's easier to pick up. Pocket-sized. I'm just like, is all of this attitude him trying to make up for a perceived inadequacy? Oh, what do they call that? Napoleon complex? Stupid geometry. You should have seen your duplicates. They were creepy and wanted to grab me even though they were sick. They wanted to spread it to me. The jerks. Ah, yes. They're like, ooh, does this music make you feel more comfortable and settled in the game? No. And they're like, good. We want you to feel like crap. I'm like, yay. Nice. So many children. Yay, and it's making weird noise. Hey, Grigori. Got news for you, bitch. I'm right.
I have a heartache.
Have you tried taking an antacid for that? Okay. I feel guilty for having misled you, dear Bachelor. Forgive this old man. I thought your ignorance of our local affairs would mystically skew the circumstances in your favor. Forgive me if I was wrong. There's no unexpected news to be heard, is there? No. The disease is spreading around the town already. It is necessary that we urgently appoint mid-level executives, get all the doctors and hospital attendants. Let Sabaroff take care of that. After all, he was the one who demand emergency powers from us, which were granted. I've already sent all of my men to assist him, as well as an appreciable amount of money to further his administrative activities. We don't have any doctors or hospital attendants. The only man that knows something about medicine is currently examining my brother's body. It is strange there have been no news from him so far. We need to send someone after him. What about you? What are you going to do? We will fight until the very end. I'll personally persecute those who would dare describe this disease as some kind of preordained divine retribution. I will attack anyone who would say Simon got what he deserved. Finally, I will not allow anyone to say that what Simon has built by ceaseless labor is subject to inevitable destruction. Retribution for what? Sooner or later, one who dares challenge the mechanics of nature will pay the price. But it's not something we want to believe, is it? This is a conclusion drawn by people who tend to mistake their exhaustion for wisdom. However, even an echo would sometimes grow to become a deafening noise. If people kept saying we're doomed, they might as well bring about our extinction. I would never draw a conclusion like this. That would bring my whole life work to naught. We are not so different from each other, dear Bachelor. I'm grateful for everything you've done for us. I appreciate the risk you took to help us, and I'm much obliged for the disheartening conclusion you have reached. No matter what you are going to do, you can count on our full support. The reward we have promised you will be duly delivered. Victor will make all necessary arrangements. Thank you, Judge. I must take my leave now. Gregor Kane agreed to delegate his authority to the head of the Sabaroff family. They are in concordance with one another. Not a moment too soon. I can go back to Alexander now, for I still have to present my official papers to him and discuss my further authority. I am bound by the power of my word. Whichever shape the enemy assumes, the substance of our confrontation remains the same. You're so full of yourself. It's funny, though. Alright. P. 7 minus 2 is 5. So it's like 5 p.m. To go to Victor? He mentions Victor, but I don't know if I'm actually getting anything from Victor. Dude, you look like a tired old lesbian.
It is far easier to be wise for others than to be so for oneself.
Alright. Nothing new. Okay, game. Keep telling me to go to talk to Victor. It's not helping me any. Alright. Upwards. Okay. I do think it's fun that both Maria and Victor disagree with Gregory. It definitely tells you a bit about them. And how Gregory wants to see things the way he wants to see them, not necessarily the truth. Which fits with what I saw in the marble nest. Oh, that wind. I don't like that wind. Excuse me. I'm going to Laura first because I believe I have all the food she wants. And she's sort of on the way to Sabara. I think hers is the gray one. Maybe? Yeah. Well, that is gray too, but it has brick as well.
Was it a month ago? I can't remember.
Was what a month ago? What will become of us? Why are the three ruling families at odds? The lust for profit and ambition have nothing to do with it. I think they're simply confused. The final balance point is destroyed, and our whole life is going down before our very eyes. What's the point of an equilibrium system if a single man's death threatens your whole way of living? Here's how it used to be. Sabaroff was the official leader, but Katrina was the weakest mistress. The brilliant prophet, Nina, was Victor's wife, and the youngest Cain held no real power. Vlad was the richest, but Victoria stopped him from abusing his resources. Huh. So, the mistress's power complemented the power of the rulers to that extent. How could it be? First of all, they could see the future. Secondly, they breathed in unison with the earth, listening to the step. Finally, the aura of their spiritual force could be felt physically. The mistresses maintained life in the town, changing its intensity. They were like energy clots. And that is no longer so. Nina died. The Cains would have lost their power over the soul of the town, but Simon seemed to have absorbed her spirit. Simon didn't rule. He was a creator. Katrina, who had been inclined towards darkness before, became the Black Mistress. But she was held back by the White Mistress Victoria? A balance was restored. When Victoria died, Katrina rushed to take her place. She was quite afraid of playing games with Mother Darkness by then. The last of the mistresses was struggling and throwing herself from one extreme to the other. Her fiasco was made up for by Simon. He transferred all executive power over to Sabaroff, but brilliantly held the soul of the town in his grasp. So no one wants to bow his head to Katrina, who failed to become either a witch or an angel, right? More or less. You have a curious idea of government around here. 3. Yeah, and I got the fish.
It is not so dangerous.
Q. loaves of bread, dried fish, smoked meat. I've dry meat. Crap. Oh, that is frustrating as hell. Just wanted to mention that. Well, if I fail because of that, I fail because of that. But at least I have food. I needed smoked meat, not dry meat. That is intensely annoying. Oh, that's not where I wanted to go in anyway. Smoked meat. Okay, I don't outright, but a little bit more. What else will sell decent? That sells decent. That sells better. Yeah, okay. So I got 2 smoked meat. Oh, I'm dumb. I hope you guys aren't picking up what I'm hearing above me. It is not a pleasant sound. It's the neighbors making noise, so I'm like, there's nothing like, I feel so frustrated now. I misread, and I think part of it is because I automatically think of smoked meat as preserved or dried meat, and so my brain doesn't think of them as 2 separate things. Thanks, kid. Unless you have something. Nope. Nope, nothing interesting. Okay. Think I need to turn here? Yes. Wait, first I'm gonna check this one. No, I lied. I'm gonna check these first. Oh boy. Do you have smoked meat? 'Cause I'm dumb. Smoked meat. It's more expensive than it was the other place. Alright, what have I got to sell? Is that enough? No. There we go. Now I have the smoked meat. Okay, wait. I lost. Okay. I think it's this way is where you go. Yeah, because there's that stairway to nowhere, and that's right by the bridge. What is that walk you're doing, weirdo? Borf borf to you too, fictional dog. Damn geometry. This'll get me in, but that's the one to Katrina. That's the door to Katrina, which has a spider. It looks like a painting of like Lolth, if you speak D&D, because it's a spider with a woman's head. There, I've done all your work, you jerk.
Now or never. We need a decisive move.
I have recently received express Messages from Kane and Olgemski. No one will dare interfere with my choices now. We are declaring quarantine. We'll create an anti-epidemic operational headquarters. I plan to assign ourselves to be its supervisors. Myself because it is my duty, you because that would be fair. We must fight shoulder to shoulder. Do you agree? I need unrestricted authority, access to all districts, and a personal firearm. From now on, infected districts will be blocked off. No one will leave the town until the situation is resolved. You will be allowed access to any and all areas of the town, of course. Neither Kane nor Olgemski will have any right to stop you. You will have to provide the population with clear instructions. Be careful about it. It's not my place to mentor you through. Of course. I do know that I could get a gun here. And I'm like, money! Of course, I will send you the text. However, I need a weapon and the unrestricted right to use it. I will recruit volunteers. We will pick trustworthy ones, people of good standing, family men with good reputations. I'll grant them the widest range of authority. They will thwart any violence or looting. They'll also stop any attempts to use arms. Where and when? Oh, God! This is hilarious. Here, take good care of it. Firearms are rare in this town. If you need a gun, your best bet would be looking for it on the black market. Some townsfolk may keep makeshift, outdated, or prohibited guns. I'm sure that those who do will want to use them sooner or later. That is how we will find them. But I have almost none at hand. That is truly regrettable. Thank you for this anyway. Do what you think is apt. I only ask two things of you. First of all, take good care of yourself. Drink, eat, sleep. Be careful. I'm afraid many will take advantage of the situation to either settle old accounts or fulfill their hidden agendas. Secondly, spare those lives that can be spared. I will act according to these circumstances. For the time being, the power struggle between the ruling families has ceased. They have appointed Alexander Saburov as governor and granted him full civil and judicial control over the town. As such, he has declared a state of emergency. They will quarantine the town, and now everyone is looking to me to suggest a further course of action. Okay. I might as well save, because I guess that means I've made it sure that none of my bound will get hurt trying to do what I needed to do. You know, the fact that apparently Saburov has it in for Peter makes me go, Peter, why are you here? So close to him. That seems like a mistake. Uh-oh. It's startling me again. Damn thing.
Your face is fading away. Are you...
Nope, that didn't. He's not willing to agree to it. So, I guess I'll do what I know I can do. Wait. Will this allow me to walk around it quickly? Are there any breaks here? Oh, we'll see. Because I'm trying to do this efficiently. But, you know. Best laid plans of mice and men. And weird drunks. This bugs me. I don't know why it bugs me so much. Thanks, dude. But it truly does. It really, really bugs me so much that he's like, he walks like that. Haha, I got 2 guns. Huh. He gave me a really crummy gun. That's fine. I will sell it. Yes. Alright. Not interested. Well, hey, little girl, do you want a gun for stuff? Nope. Do you want a gun? I doubt it. But I don't know why I find amusement in that. Just going to a kid and going, hey, do you want to trade for a gun? Oh. Now I think it will work.
Was it a month ago? I can't remember.
Here's what you asked for. Is this all you've managed to buy? Yes. You need to bring it over to the empty house in the flank. I showed you the way before, remember? My friends and the intendant that had helped us with the shopping are waiting there already. I'll be back soon. There. So cute. Help yourself. The prices have indeed soared beyond reason. Even so, I have to get the provisions to the shelter. It is a necessity, and any price is small sacrifice. To the right. Oh, I think okay. Alright, so I go this way. Oh, I don't think that will let me go through. Maybe it will. But I don't think it does. Nope. Is there a way? Okay. Well, this is definitely not the most efficient route. But it is the route I have decided to go, apparently. I don't have any empty bottles for a change. Okay, and I go past the town hall. Oh, and I also have to, like, check everything, too. I think I can go through that way. Hi, creepy kid. Maybe that's why the plague has come this way? It's like, oh god, so many creepy looking kids. Gotta stop this. Oh, that's a terrible thing to say. So it's this building. Well, it looks okay from the outside. That door doesn't work. Ugh, this does not bode well. Hi, Executor. Everyone's dead here, see? No one knows why. Perhaps it's an echo of yesterday's vendetta. We're a bit at loss about this loss ourselves. What am I supposed to do with these provisions? The dead have no use for it. Give your offerings to Laura. Wasn't she that asked you to bring food? She wanted to call her shelter the House of the Living, didn't she? What, is she supposed to refashion her own home into a Lazar house now? She won't need it anymore anyway. Laura only has a few days left to persuade her to make the most of them. What? Is she going to die? How should we know? We are not the ones in charge here. We only know one thing for certain. It won't take long. We have nothing to do with it. Who does then? That will become very obvious very soon. Hurry, or poor Laura will die of starvation today. I will find a way to get to you. Just wait. Oh God, I'm shaking. My hand is shaking. Oh. I thought I'd loot, but I'm too scared. Oh. Ow. My heart hurts now. It really hurts. From sudden, like, just terror I felt. Well, other tasks. The House of the Living is no more. It expired before it came to fruition. I'm left with the gathered provisions. Perhaps I should take them to Laura Ravel's house. Like, what the hell, game? You really just don't pull the punches. I'm just kind of like... Part of it, I think, is the filter they put in the house. It is not a happy filter. Ha 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 ha. You're gonna die, kid. He stopped when I said that. I'm so happy. That was stupid timing. Good timing.
Who will take on the responsibility for us?
I've obtained the rations, but there are very odd orderlies standing by the house you've directed me at. They are using theatrical masks and costumes as disease protection, as far as I understood. Yes, I know. The House of the Living will have to be relocated here. Remember that you're always welcome at the shelter. We'll preserve the stock, distributing the food in small portions. We will make it. I hope it all ends soon. So, I will always be able to find room and board at your place? You will. Take this as a reward, too. These are nuts. I've been given some today. It's great luck. They must have come from an old cache. Do you know how to use them? Crack them before eating. What else am I supposed to do with nuts? No, don't eat them. Barter them. Our children would turn themselves inside out for these nuts. Keep that in mind, especially if you want to barter for something dangerous. Why do they value nuts so highly? It's an old game. A child takes a nut and sends it on all sorts of adventures. At some point, adults took all the nuts away from kids. They thought the game provoked them to do something risky themselves. The most wonderful thing is that the children remember almost every nut in town by heart. What? Does each of them have a story of its own or something? I think so. Well, anyway, it's pure treasure. Thank you. I'll come by to see you soon. Did I drop something? No. Inventory. Peanuts. Hazelnut.
It's nice to see you.
Walnut. Other. What is this? Lens. Lenses like this can be set into an optical apparatus and used to identify dense clusters of infected particles. Different lens
My lips are too dry.
lenses allow for different detection and identification of different types of infected clusters. Silver ring? Well, and weapons. That one can go.
My heartbeat is uneven. I am sick at heart.
P. Exhaustion, hunger, health. Rep. Okay. Well, I guess I better save that. So I got one of the side quests done. I feel proud of that. Hey, kiddo. Nope. Oh, I wonder, are these side quest hands and then these are main quest hands? Hmm. Okay. Man, this place is sure is something. Hey, kid. Nope. Doesn't have anything to barter with. I'll get back to there, but I think I'll check now. I'll worry about that later, because yeah, I'll end up going back there again to see how well I've done. You know, for science. Oh, maybe it says it will be delivered to me. Maybe it will be at the house then. Do you really have to make such creepy noises, game? Oh, letters. Just making sure. Okay.
Yes.
Tell me, Maria, do you have any influence on Peter Stametin? He has a... Okay, I've done this before, but I guess it's because I did it in the wrong order. So I'm just gonna... Oh, okay, so does that mean I can go further? It would appear that possession of authority is not enough for Savarov. He doesn't want to hold the power. He wants to use it to its full extent. Will he be able to resist the temptation of settling personal score? I should definitely share these thoughts with Peter. Alright, now that's shown up on there. So now maybe I can talk Peter out of it. It seems like you can... The game seems to, like, I collected information early, but it won't count towards the quest unless I've done it in order. Which is very much an old video game issue. So it's kind of like, it's annoying, but I've had worse. What time is it now in the game? So it's going to be about 8. Oh, I can't move. Rations? Okay. Did lower my exhaustion. Alright. So apparently I wasn't supposed to continue that until Sabroff was given complete power, and then I was to go to her. And then, hey kid, what's in your pockets? Molodorma, I got that already. I won't worry about that too much. Caw to you too. Just remember, there's some kind of homes. Oh, I guess the lights came on because it's 8-ish. And yes, I don't know if whoever's listening lives in one of those countries that does like a 24-hour clock. But I'm from the US and I go by a 12-hour clock. And so when it's presented that way, I always have to do the math in my head. Otherwise I get confused. And I don't fully understand what time it is. Like, I kind of know, but I don't really know. Come on, Peter. You don't want to be here. Because this place... Like, also, why do you live so close to Sabroff, Peter? Come on. Well, I was only slightly less startled by that.
What if he can mix herbs? Fancy that. A new brew can come out of this. A new... you know, eh?
You sound like a stoner in this one. Haven't changed your mind, have you? No. I have news for you. This evening, Alexander Sabroff will become the governor. Ogemste and Kane are going to vest him nearly unrestricted powers to curb the epidemic that your brother and you refuse to believe in. Bloody hell. You sure about this? I am. What of Gregory? What does the judge say? Bloody hell. So Sabroff will be judge now, too? I don't think so, but he'll have the right to execute anyone whom he considers to be guilty of breaking the quarantine. That's it. I'm a dead man. As luck would have it, it happens exactly when I'm about to create a truly glorious masterpiece. Fine, let's go. So I'm telling Andre you've agreed. Yay. Other texts. Peter has agreed to flee the town with us. I must let Andre know in good time. I'll leave him with the responsibility of sobering up his bilibus brother. Oh my gosh, who uses that word? I know what it means, but nobody uses that word. Not anymore. I only know that word because of the Terry Pratchett book. I think it's in Hogsfather where the guy of hangovers is the god of god of hangovers is born, and he's bilibus. That's the only reason why I know that word. Maybe English people use it occasionally, but certainly not in the US. Unless you're reading an old book. You are not who I want to tell about this. Oh yeah, I told the guy that you really hate and you want dead to run. Yeah, that just sounds like an idiot's move. Just saying. Nice. As much as I hate a lot of these details, I'm really glad I don't have to worry about thirst. Although, you know. It still makes me a bit paranoid, though. Which is why I'm always checking the water sources. I think this is just got revamped in the...
Yes.
Your brother has agreed. Well, don't let the door hit our asses on our way, then. There are plenty more shitholes in the world. I might need a gun, though. Do you have a weapon? I have an armory. If only I knew what enemy I'm aiming myself against. Then we need to buy ammo. By the way, those old cavalry revolvers are verified to misfire often. You're better off carrying several guns, just like in the good old days. When one of them fails, another will work. Where can I buy them? There are no guns or ammos for sale. I've been looking all over. Right. Let's do the preparations separately then. Here's some money. The black market around here is run by a mongrel calling himself Bad Grief. Have you met the rodent already? I have. Wow, you think lowly of Grief, huh? You can always find the human killing stuff at Grief's. Now then, he obviously try to rob you as best he can, but you only need to say Andre is off to the kennel to him, and he'll change his tune immediately. He may even give you something for free. Whoa, what does that phrase mean? An old business of ours. It means he forgot who I was while I was busy drinking in this den. Okay, so they work business together. Cool. Alright, then what? Then you come back. Meanwhile, I'll try to think a way to get Gugong's good side. Who's Gugong? One of the locals, a deaf and dumb train driver, not quite human, made of soil and bones, glued together with sticky blood, and inspired with thick twirine, just like all his step-brethren. I'd break his neck, but the engine wouldn't go anywhere without him. Don't you frown. I'll deal with him. That is fortunate. Alright. Oh, that's not much money. Alright. Down, around, and then across there, probably. Hey, kiddo. Oh. I was like, okay, nothing's blocking me. It said there's a blockage, but it's the things. Fun. Okay, here we go. Hey, dude. Nope, nothing. Don't look so haughty, kid. Not here to do bad. I'm here to do, I don't know, survive. And hopefully help others survive. But I think at the moment, I'm mostly here for myself. Also, the fact that it when talking to Andre, you can mention that he was studying health something. I'm like, oh God, was he going down the road of being a doctor? That's a little scary. Though it does take all types. But I don't know. I guess Andre found that kind of cut and boring. After all, there's no style in it if you've got permission, I guess. That's where Ruben hangs out. Okay, I got a little more time. Watch this way be blocked. Oh, it's not. Yay. Okay, whatever. That's the station, I'm assuming. That light means this is save game.
Saburov will regret this. Haste makes waste.
I need a weapon, Grief. Oh no, my lovely man, the mortar is a gift, is it? You can't be shooting them robbers in the dark alley with a mortar. A barker, on the other hand, but it would probably cost you even more dearly, dear Doc. Andre is off to the kennel, Grief. That changes things. Oh God, his face. His eyes are bloodshot looking too. Take this one for free. But it ain't be doing much shooting for too long. It suits me fine. What is that? We've armed ourselves. This weapon will suffice to fight my hidden nemesis that stalks this place. Now I can return to Andre.
A fool's tongue is long enough to cut his own throat.
Yeah, that's about right. That's lots of money. He didn't even give me enough to buy a freaking... That's hilarious. But now I've got 3 guns. They call me 3-gun Bachelor. Don't know how to use any of them, but I got them. Oh, well, that didn't help me any. This place is built just to annoy me. Oh, it's just a drunk. Nope. Yeah. Excuse me. I just said excuse me to that creepy guy. I guess. Not gonna lie, the people who are generally not doing something useful, and I'm just like, you are not really my favorites. I feel like no one wants to trade. And I'm like, okay. Be like that. Oh, those leaves. I was like, what the heck? But from what trees? Okay. Wait a minute. I don't know if I've been to those yet. 'Cause I've got time, right? Hey, definitely for equipment, that's for sure. There goes my exhaustion. Just in the corner of my eye saying, look at me. Okay, that's the broken heart. Go down there. Okay. Oh, he... Oh, you're wearing some knuckle dusters.
How's my brother? Any news on him?
All set, we're armed. Okay, let's be by the station at 10 p.m. Don't get too close to the engine, though. I won't. Well, I guess I need to go there now. Okay. No. I guess I'll go the way I came. Yeah. Oh, boy. I hate... I can say one thing. The atmosphere is enough that I feel the original crawling dread that I did when I first started playing Pathologic 2. I eventually learned how to play Pathologic 2 well enough that the dread kind of petered away. But it's like it's come back. This is the right way to do it. Probably not. Wait, how did that get in my pocket? I'm almost certain I only had one silver thing in my pocket. Okay. Yeah, this is the right way. That is a weird tower. It makes me think of a maze. Oh, well, it makes weird noise. Oh, maybe that's just the station makes weird noise. Okay, maybe I have to go around it. Apologies for bumping my hand against it. Oh, okay. Oh, you're looking at me. Bachelor Jankowski, sir. I'm under orders to stop you by any and all means necessary. No one is allowed to leave the town. This is an order of emergency. Plenipotentiary. Okay, I don't know what that word is. Never seen it. Fine, you win. I'll cancel my departure. Q. Other tasks. Our attempt to flee the town has failed. Someone compromised our plan, and the patrolmen had blockaded all possible routes out of town. Cute. But I think that means I've gotten everything done for today. Whoa, I feel accomplished. I'm gonna head towards the theater. Hungry, I'm exhausted. Castle of the Soul in a house. Okay. That's not the button I wanted to do. Did I save? I don't remember. So I'm gonna save again. Ha ha ha. Because I'm that player. I know I can quick save too, but that quick saves always feel insubstantial, and I always feel like they won't actually save my game. Also, it's interesting that I found out that if I bring up my inventory, I can't move. Oh boy. Yay. Trash. Well, you know, this is a good skill because if the Nantica, you know, fails, he's now learning how to rummage through trash for the things he needs. Or might be useful. Not exactly a fate I wish on him by any means, but it is a fate that, well, maybe that may just come upon him no matter what he does. So, you know, even if his work has all failed after the pandemic anyway, he's learned some skills. Positive experience overall. Yep, that's what he's having. Positive learning experience. Oh. I see you. Boy. Let's start quick saving. I don't like this. Quick saving that. Okay, I think I have 4 gun shots left in this. I am glad that they have that music to tell me what's going on. Okay. Okay, I've got a little time left. Oh, I hate this place. Oh, my own footsteps are startling me and scaring me. Hi. Rations. Should give me enough time for that. Get some dried meat. Drugs. Alright, that healed me a bit.
The Housefathers think they rule the world.
Nope. Okay. I've already had that conversation. I'm like, I don't... Oh, I do have plenty of revolver ammo, at least. I feel like I'm sitting on a razor's edge right now. I hate these Zephyrs. What is my health at? Not amazing. Oh, that doesn't help much. Oh, great. It's thundering, too. Well, at least I'm standing under an awning, and stone does not attract. Too much lightning. Oh boy. Oh, his nose and mouth are sticking up. Ugh, that music though, that music. Ugh. I mean, maybe I could have done something else, like on hunting these guys, but no, I'm too scared right now. God, I just want to go to the theater and get the theater thing and then leave. Now, it seems like every time I leave the theater at night when I do this, there's a guy comes from the right. Which is very old-timey game problem.
The day is
over.
Your timely efforts allowed your supporters to remain unharmed. A new mime performance is being rehearsed at the theater.
Oh, nice.
The rulers had to accept something was wrong. The terrifying discoveries have convinced them. One of them managed to curb the family feud.
Bad news. The governor will abuse his power, and the rest won't let him get away with this. Nothing's changed.
The town was placed in quarantine. From now on, the infected districts will be locked down, and no one will be able to leave until the situation is resolved.
Well, it won't be. They won't figure it out.
Huh. Oh, they're in a sandbox. I get it. Woo! Done so much.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't notice this letter. Oh, that's for the day. Evening letter from the powers that be. Day 2. To facilitate your assignment, we will be sending a special train carrying medicine, sanitary equipment, and personnel. We expect the train to arrive in 4 days. The Inquisitor, allegedly Mark Karminski or Peter Croy, will travel separately. If the sanitary train reaches the town before the Inquisitor, the personnel and equipment therein will be yours to manage. The person in charge of the sanitary expedition will be duly instructed to collaborate. We hope that by that time you will have exhaustive information as to what the nature of the disease is. Set on the behalf of the manipulatory laboratory. Oh, that's a friendly sounding place. Oh, I didn't realize there were other letters too. Crap. Oh, okay. They've told them. Okay, that's telling me that if I succeed, I might be able to continue. Okay. Danelle, I'm writing this in a hurry, so do forgive the uncustomarily brevity. The powers that be are closing in on us. They persecuted us before, as you know, but now they're set to utterly exterminate us. We may yet be able to persevere, but you, my friend, are in grave danger. It is almost as if your destination was chosen to be that of the place of your burial. They say that there's some kind of disease in town, a most lethal variety, perhaps plague itself. I have little doubt that the powers that be have set up your whole journey. Tellman, that vermin, wants to get rid of you more than he wants to cease the outbreak. I wouldn't be surprised if it transpires that there are no medical personnel whatsoever in the town. They will use it as a pretext to delegate the whole mess of it to you. If this is the case, I urge you to keep out of trouble. Stay safe, Daniel. Wait for the sanitary teams. They'll arrive sooner or later. Take care, my friend. If they tell you to engage the plague by yourself, refuse it, even if your principals enjoin you to do otherwise. Our research is what matters the most, and we will not be able to go on with it if you're dead. Yours truly, A. Huh. Yeah, I only noticed Isidore Burrock's message. I hadn't... Okay. Interesting. I do need to check, but I need to check on the page because that is the day the letters arrive. Okay, I'm pulling out my gun. It is loaded. I absolutely have no idea what is the safest way to go. I guess I'll go towards Eva Jan's place. Map. Okay. Oh, that scared me. F5 because I'm paranoid. F5. F5 again. F5. Oh gosh. Just shooting my way home like a normal person. I guess, if that's normal. Eva, do you know anything?
You'll think of something, of course, won't you?
I want to be of help. I want to be by your side. Is there something I can do for you? Right now, my only desire is to light up candles, wash soot off of the day off, wrap myself in bedsheet, and get drunk until my mind goes blank. Would you get us a bottle of Twyrine? I'll do so if I find one. Do you want us to get drunk together? Of course. Twyrine is actually 70% strong. It's an effective preventative remedy. Drink it, Eva. I think that was a good example of it just going all the way over his head. Alright, my hunger and my exhaustion are really high. I Don't know what I'm supposed to do with this lens that I got. Huh. That tells me nothing. Well, first. Reload. Okay, I'm loaded up. I. Durability is running along that. Rations. Okay. Others. Okay, I think I only have 2 more spaces for others. But that's okay. Drugs. This should help me heal while I sleep. Yeah. Oh, look at my health go. Oh boy. L. No letters yet. Q. Alright, I can go down now. Pitter patter.
What?
Okay. P. My health. My immunity is in the middle. My protection from infection is not particularly high, but you know. Exhaustion is gone, which is nice. Hunger is up again, but that's going to be the game, I believe. It was in the first one. Immunity, health, and reputations. Huh. Whatever happens, these people must live. Their facts are bound to mine, and they may well hold the keys to my victory in their hands. People were willing to take the fall for reasons most peculiar. Cold calculation, despair, duty, and even love. Today's new opportunity to step closer to the victory has come up. Having learned about this, a few people have abandoned the safety of their homes, endeavoring to assist you in their efforts. If you value their lives, you find a way to fulfill your current goal until nightfall. If you couldn't care less, let them do as they please. You still have a few people left who are willing to sacrifice themselves for your cause. Does that mean it's Victor Kane is in danger today? That face. Q. No. Oh, the morning of the 3rd day has come. Infected 39 people. Died yesterday 37. Gone missing 12. Total death toll 1,100. Huh. In which the Bachelor is offered to hunt the elusive enemy. Nope. I have no letters. Quest? No quest. Alright. Nope. Oh god, I just realized I've met day 3. Oh boy. And I am hungry. Still. Oh, rations. Meat. What did I do with it? what I did with that lens. Okay. Settings. There is something. Plague Finder is V. I don't think I have a Plague Finder. Also, well, caw to you too. Well, the music's definitely interesting. I don't know if it's helpful, but it's interesting. What do you know?
Changeling met Andre.
Okay. Doesn't help me much, but thank you. Oh, perhaps I'm supposed to speak with Sabaroff. Because he's now in charge. Well, I don't know yet. I've gotten no letters.
There's buzzing in my ears.
Do you know anything regarding Reuben's whereabouts? Sadly, no. The disappearance of Master Reuben fills me with the sincerest regret. He is, of course, the person most to blame for the loss of our brother's remains. But that's not what matters. What does? We have no competent people left except you. We are unable to put up a struggle. It's true what I've been told, that you declined Sabaroff's request and did not accept responsibility for the town's future. Who told you such nonsense? Not only did I agree, I explicitly stated my eagerness to do all that is within my power. You're a noble man, Bachelor Dankovsky, so we do have hope. I'm acting in accordance with my beliefs, which is not to leave a mystery unsolved.
I feel as though my blood is getting thicker.
Well, that doesn't sound great. Maybe a stroke's coming. Day's quest, nothing. Other tasks. Mission. As of today. Simon, I guess, is next. Oh boy. Oh, Simon, I don't think I like you.
Who could have thought? A plague is staring us in the face. That's how much his demise means.
My dear doctor, misfortune is a regular guest in our family home. A new calamity has befallen us. What is it? The house in which Reuben lived and worked has been tainted by infectious mold and fallen prey to the looters. Our messengers searching every nook and cranny. Neither Reuben nor Simon's body are in the house. Some of the people that helped to undertake the search are paying a terrible price. They've contracted the sand pest. How would you explain the absence of the body? It appears that once the infection began to spread across the house, Master Reuben decided to remove the body. He must have taken it to some hidden location that he considered safe. However, since we still haven't heard from him, we can only infer that Reuben is dead. Let us hope that Reuben will get in touch soon. Something tells me this isn't going to happen. Were you going to ask me for help? Please help us recover the body, Doctor. We are already much indebted to you for having identified Simon's killer. It is not your fault that the truth has turned out to be so distressing to us all. I implore you to help Simon, and us once more, for my brother's body. The task is far from trivial. Where do I even start? Someone may have seen something. I believe you've made some useful acquaintances in the town slums. Not to mention we have all manner of lowlife here. Could they know something? Speak to my brother, Victor. He is much better than me where the practical side of things are concerned. I'll let you know what I find. Q. Other tasks. The body of the immortal. The disappearance of Simon's body seems to greatly trouble the Kanes. Could it be that a powerful, burly man like Reuben fell victim to some mysterious body snatcher? Maybe Victor would have some insight as to where I should start my investigation. Okay, I don't have my main thing, but I do have a side quest. So now I have to talk to Victor again. Yay. Back and forth, I'm beginning to feel like Sisyphus. Anyway, don't mind me. That's a quote from a different game.
Autumn is gloomy this year.
Yeah, I can tell. Plague tends to gloom everything up. Every hour bringing... Okay. I'm looking for your brother's body, Victor. Do you have any ideas on the subject? I do. If I were you, Olgemski's son would be the first person I told, too. Young Vlad, nicknamed Chavaron. Reuben and he have some business together. He knows places where Reuben may have taken the body. Have you already asked him? I've tried, but we're in a difficult position now. On one hand, we're putting pressure on his father. On the other, we're asking him for a favor. Putting pressure? I was under the impression yesterday we had managed to put an end to all disputes between the ruling families. There can never be an end to disputes between our families. It's impossible as reuniting day with night. But now I feel that Big Vlog's actions have bearing on the root of all our troubles. I don't like this silence from the termitary. Could it be that the infamous murderer is hiding? The thought has crossed my mind, too. The termitary riot coincided suspiciously with Isidore's return from the steppe and the outbreak of the epidemic. A stranger man has made their way into the town. Human or Shabnok, it doesn't matter. We can't establish whether their involvement in Simon's death was direct or indirect, but the involvement is clearly there. Why? It's been revealed to Maria in a dream that the cause of Simon's death is hiding in the termitary. I intend to find out why Big Vlad refuses so adamantly to open it, and you should ask Vlad the Younger if you get a chance. Perhaps I won't even need to. Alright, that's where I need to go. Q. Vlad the Younger may have some more information. I need to know the place where Reuben took the body, and locations of any other such places. I also need to ascertain whether the son of Isidore Borach, widely known as the Ripper, has anything to do with it. 3. A worried message from Gregory Kane. Please visit me at the Crucible at your earliest convenience. Another misfortune has befallen us, and again it concerns the person whom you've traveled so far to see. I hope the woes of our family are still of some importance to you. Well, I guess I beat that letter. Okay. I'm gonna save. And, M. Well, I don't think I can cross there, but I can see in a second. Because, you know, I might as well do some exploration. Oh yeah, caw. Woohoo! M. This is not the way I meant to go. Well, time has moved again. Can that be crossed, I wonder? From the looks of it, probably not. But I wanted to inspect it first. Alright. Oh, I miss picking flowers with Army Barak. Because that's what I name it. Okay, that's really nothing. I just wasted time. But hey, it answered my curiosity. Caca. I really don't know if there's anything up these, but I have to check, you know? There's crying children. Which is not necessarily... Oh, I can almost see the sun when I go all the way up there. Okay, so it's where I go to hear children crying. Got it. Oh, why did I climb up there again? Yeah. Nope. Though. Let's see my clothes. I fixed them. Yay. Borf, borf. Doggos be doggos. Hey. What are you doing?
Is the disease really contagious?
I'm pretty sure it is. How can I help you? It just occurred to me that a map with the infected areas charted on it would significantly help couriers and medical aids. It may be surprising to you, but I've already seen to that. My men are now assigned to produce such maps daily. The cost of making one copy is a mere, let's see, 1,000 or so. I'd like to buy it right now. Alright. Now, how's it marked? This area. Oh, that's not too bad so far.
There's this thing that needs to be done.
Reuben's disappeared. His home has been infected and looted. Neither his body nor Simon's was there. Where could he have gone? I don't know. I haven't seen him. Do you suspect Reuben is dead? Why should I suspect that? If Reuben were alive, he would undoubtedly make his whereabouts known, and he certainly wouldn't keep quiet about the pest getting inside the town. He's one of the few that have actual understanding of what that entails. He's known about the infection for a long time. We just agreed to keep it secret. There are several locations where Reuben could have taken the corpse, but I have no plans to reveal them to you until you do a family a favor in return. Gladly, unless it takes up too much of my time. I want to settle the dispute between us and the Canes concerning our unwillingness to let emissaries into the cemetery. I don't know what the Canes are thinking, but we are not harboring anything or anyone there that could be of even remote interest to them, especially to my deeply esteemed fellow Victor. So why don't you let the inspectors in? First of all, it's dangerous. The rabble is rioting. I've told you about that more than once already. Secondly, Father would not submit to the younger Cain's orders. If this keeps up, we will soon be taking orders from his 10-year-old son. Fine. What is your plan? The Canes are hiding something, too. They have their own skeleton in the closet, and it's even more unsightly than ours. Our closet is full of our own workers. Theirs full of other people's children. You can make sure of that. Everything is well inside the polyhedron. Then trust me, the termitary is fine, too. It's an enclave, a closed chamber. Was the polyhedron closed after the termitary? It was much closer to the original source of the plague, to Simon Cain. Sounds convincing. I'll inspect the polyhedron and talk to Victor, but I'll ask a favor of you in return. Help me find Simon's body. Try to curb the righteous anger of the judge and the terrible Victor. They seem to have finally decided to harass my father to death. I've no doubt, no matter what he did, it's not his fault. If you do that, I will gladly assist you. Deal. So, Q. The young Ogemski, being a respectful son as he is, has a cunning way of concealing his failures. He has agreed to provide the information I need, but only if the Canes withdraw their demands from his family. Meanwhile, Victor insists that I investigate the termitary as soon as possible. Well. L. Nope. That's not helping me. So. Huh. Interesting. Well. M. I don't feel like I've really gotten anything out of that, but it sure is something. Oh. And considering what we do know. What I do know about him, and I do keep in mind that they have changed characters between the two games. But I'm like, yeah, I knew he was... It's like, yeah, he's as conniving as he pretends he isn't. I guess I talked to Victor again. I have a lot of walking to do today anyway. Oh, okay, there's a tree. I was like, where are all these leaves coming from? This is a step. Now I know. There are some trees. Though I don't know how helpful they actually are. I really like this music. It's kind of surprising how much I do. It's fitting. Hi, I'm apparently a messenger boy too.
Lad is right. Whatever happens in the termitory, it'll be ill-advised to open it now.
I come bearing news from the Olgemskes. It has to do with the termitary. Most curious, what is it? Vlad the Younger asked me to tell you that the following. The termitary has been closed before the polyhedron was, and there are many witnesses to that. Really, what is he getting at? He has no reason to believe that the situation inside the termitary is different from that inside the tower. Ingenious, damn it. All right, so be it. If that's how he's spinning it, then I'm forced to leave him alone. For now. You can tell him that. I'll only last until we find proof that not everything is in order inside the termitary. You look so angry. I hope there's no doubt in your mind that I am obviously only doing all this to get the Olgemskes to reveal the location of Simon's body to me. I haven't been wasting my time either in the meantime. The information my couriers have brought me back is terrible. There's a ripper in the town. Fragments of human bodies have been found. It's either a stranger who doesn't observe our traditions, or it really is someone or something sent from the steppe. Who is this stranger? Earlier, I feel that Big Vlad was sheltering him in the termitary. It is now clear that isn't the case. He is on the loose. I think he is a thief. I also believe he's the very man who's been accused of patricide, the cursed wayward son of Isidore Borak. What makes you think it's him? I haven't made up my mind yet. I just have my suspicions. The end times are upon us if sons have ceased to honor their fathers. They are turning the earth towards the void. Toppling what their parents built is what these wayward children are best at, but they never create anything in its place. I feel you are talking about your own son. My son is now founded a kingdom of his own. There it is, towering above our sinful earth. He wouldn't let anyone into that world, not even his own father. If you're interested in knowing what's going on there, give it a try. Maria thinks you're a man for whom nothing is impossible. Yes, I'll follow your advice. Alright. Victor agreed to withdraw the demands at once. He does not want the tower to be implicated. They seem to be hiding something there. Whatever it is clearly not the disease. Moreover, I don't think I'm the one they are trying to deceive. Perhaps I could use this whole affair as an excuse to sneak into the mysterious tower across the river. I can speak to Vlad about whatever secrets I uncover there. Alright, so I'm still on that, but M. Alright, yes, I'm definitely gonna check that out first. Oopsies. Let us check this out. I'm assuming... Okay, I already got that one, so... Way to give it some foreboding sound. Oh, I like that flower in the middle. It's cute. Oh, this is a bumpy ride. It's definitely not for those faint of stomach. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, it is quite magnificent. Given the graphics levels. Oopsies. I don't want to accidentally walk off the side. Pop, 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 pop. Well, this seems to be a faster walk up than... Huh. I don't really see much here. You can't go inside or else the tower will topple. I'm afraid of the Canes. I've come to sing Khan. You're in luck then. Khan has left the facets to mourn his grandfather. Come in, but do not try to go inside. You don't want us all to perish, do you? I really don't. Whoa. Okay, this is pretty cool. Wow, that sure is cursive. Is that a weird brazier? Oh, those are the shirtless boys. God, Khan.
What else should one do if he's filled with rags?
Adults are not allowed in here. It can topple the tower. I won't be staying for long. Who do I have the pleasure to talking to? My name is Casper. I'm the son of Victor and Nina, the youngest of the Canes. Now, you name yourself. Bachelor Denkovsky. Are you a friend of our family? I am.
It's only too easy to fall into pieces.
You wanted to speak to me. I'm listening. I'm the one that's listening. Boy, tell me about this structure. It's a mystery. You won't be able to fathom it. Do you see the walls? Yes. Thought so. We children do not see them. There, on the left, is the coast of the new sea. Behind you, the cleft of islands. Behind my left shoulder, the knot of 5 footpaths. And the facet a little way to the left from it is actually the collapsed bridge from the legend of Everborn. I see now. It's poetic allegory. You're all dreamers in here. What are the walls you see made of, guest? Looks like paper to me. Strange, very strange. The average thick-headed grown-up here sees mirrored surfaces. It's the reason they call it the specular tower. Each person only sees an infinite series of their own reflections. That was the design. That's interesting. Are there really 1,000 children in here? Yes, but they're all on the other side of the facets. You can't see them, but they can see you clearly. The facets are a reliable barrier. Against what? You! You're doppelgangers, everyone who comes from across the river. I don't have any doppelgangers. You do, 2 of them. Also endeavoring to save humanity. At least that's what they say. Every word they utter mirrors yours, and so far, they've caused nothing but harm. Oh! The 2 doppelgangers. Is that the Bachelor in the Haruspex route and the Bachelor in the, in Clara's route? That would make sense. What kind of harm? Our salvation lies in repose and silence. Our town must stay still now. Freeze, like someone who stirred up a nest of venomous snakes. Then the disease will abate and burn up in its own flames. I was told these were your words, were they? Close enough. What do you mean? What do my doppelgangers have to do with anything? They make people uneasy. It's because of them that no one stays put. Disturbed by the Haruspex' actions and the changeling's barmy preaching, people started fusing and ended up laying their lives upon the altar of the common good. We children will not listen to you. Why? What did I do to lose the trust of children? I'm protecting our world. We're just doing fine without you. You can handle this plague, even if it spills in the end of the world. Do you want to check that this place is clean? Have a look around. It's clean, I promise you. But I won't let you in, wise bachelor. No offense. More allegories. Looks like it runs in the family. The child speaks like a grown man. His manner leaves an impression. Could it be that old Gemsky is right? If the termitary is protected from any external influence as diligently as the tower is, I can exclude both buildings from my inquiry for now.
This is it. No more games. No one needs us.
It's nothing too astonishing. This tower has been standing here for more than a decade. Unbelievable. Okay. Interesting. Aha. Nice. That was really, really cool. I'm happy about what happened there. I think I'm going to get to the bottom of this tower, and then I'm probably going to call it a night. But I want to get a nice look at this tower. So everybody sees something different. I guess it makes sense that I guess it makes sense that the Bachelor then would see the blueprints, because he looks more at the pieces than the whole. And then he also looks at the pieces so intently that he fails to see the whole, but he also looks at the whole so intently he forgets certain pieces. Yeah, I think that's how I want to phrase that. Oh. Well. I've done that, but I still have no idea what my main quest is. Well, on that note, on that note, now, on that, I can talk, I swear I can. On that note, I'm going to end this stream tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. I'm certainly enjoying this. This world is so fascinating, and I love it. And I love it for not, sticking to certain things. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good night, and bye-bye.